special? It's a 40/30 special. What's a 40/30 special? It's 40% off max.
Oh, no. Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's version of Tuck In and Chill. I'm here in a beautiful bedroom covered in a very soft and comfy poncho today. I was in a poncho kind of a mood. I like getting wrapped up in soft fabrics. I love it. It helps me feel really comfortable. And I've noticed that now that I've been a VTuber for the past 2 months, I'm starting to see the Google ads popping up and what was meant to be my opening screens and my ending screens. So I'm very sorry for that interruption there. I don't like it. I tried to run them through before trying to find a place in my video where I can play my video for you without interruption. So sorry about that. But maybe they're just testing to see whether I'm a person to be monetized. And we're working towards that. Now, it's been a long week, and I don't know about you, but I and a bunch of people that I've seen around school and at work have been complaining about feeling so tired and not knowing why. So it's really great joining me this evening if you were in the mood just to add this little show as part of your sleep routine to get yourself ready for bed and to get your mind focused and relaxed and off of the problems of the day or the worries of the weekend and just chill. And so today I'm going to do something a tiny bit different. So far when I've been trying the Tuck-In and Chills every alternate Friday night since we've started, I would switch the screen and preview something I'd already made. But today I thought I'd try something just a little different since so many of my subscribers and repeat viewers have talked about ghost stories being a good idea when I added it that one night when we were having technical issues. So I went through some public domain kind of scary stories, a little bit. And I thought that tonight we'll just hang right here in this bedroom, and instead of switching screens, I will just read to you. And if you like that, I found quite a treasure trove, and they are copyright free for different reasons, and I've copied the licenses. And so I guess I don't know if I should put, they're very big. I don't know if I should put them in the descriptions, but if I get challenged, I have them to show. Anyways, but I hope that it's all good. Copyright in the United States since the 1960s because someone forgot to renew their license. Tough noogies for them, but good for us. So I would like to start in right away and tell you about the Pale Man. And I chose a room that kind of looks like, see this room here? It's really hotel worthy, isn't it? I kind of think so. I don't know anyone's bedroom who looks so neat as all this. But here we are. And this is a little story. And it's about the behavior of a guest in a country hotel. So let's get started. I'm going to make myself just a little bit comfy here, yes. So I can lean in. All right. Get myself on the bed over here. Oh, now I'll go over here. Yeah, that's good. All right. So whether you're lying back with your eyes closed or focused here on the screen with me or choosing a spot to look at somewhere in your room where you can help to let go of all of your thoughts for the today, here we are. You, me, no background noises, no binaural beats, just my voice to your ears. The Pale Man by Julius. I've not yet met the man in number 212. I do not even know his name. He never patronizes the hotel restaurant, and he does not use the lobby. On the 3 occasions when we passed each other by, we did not speak, although we nodded in a semi-cordial, non-committal way. I should very much like to make his acquaintance. It's so lonesome in this dreary place. With the exception of the aged lady down the corridor, the only permanent guests are the man in number 212 and myself. However, I should not complain, for this utter quiet is precisely what the doctor prescribed. I wonder if the man in number 212, too, has come here for a rest. He's so very pale. Yet I cannot believe that he is ill, for his paleness is not of a sickly cast, but rather wholesome in its ivory clarity. His carriage is that of a man enjoying the best of health. He is tall, he's straight, he walks erectly with a brisk athletic stride. His pallor is no doubt congenital, else he would quickly tan under this burning summer sun. He must have traveled here by auto, for he certainly is not a passenger on the train that brought me, and he checked in only a short time after my arrival. I briefly rested in my room and was walking down the stairs when I encountered him ascending with a bag. It is odd that our venerable bellboy did not show him to his room. It's odd, too, that with so many vacant rooms in the hotel, he should have chosen number 212 at the extreme rear. The building is a long, narrow affair, 3 stories high. The rooms are all on the east side, as the west wall is flush with the decrepit business building. The corridor is long and drab, and its stiff, bloated paper exudes a musty, unpleasant odor. The feeble electric bulbs that light it shine dimly from a tomb. Revolted by this corridor, I insisted vigorously upon being given number 201, which is at the front and blessed with southern exposure. The room clerk, a disagreeable fellow with a Hitler mustache, was very reluctant to let me have it, as it is ordinarily reserved for his most profitable transient trade. I fear my stubborn insistence has made him an enemy. If only I had been as self-assertive 3 years ago, I should now be a full-fledged professor instead of a broken-down assistant. I still smart from the cavalier manner in which the president of the university summarily recommended my vacation. No doubt he acted for my best interests. The people who have dominated my poor life invariably have. Oh well. The summer's rest will probably do me considerable good. It is pleasant to be away from the university. There's something positively gratifying about the absence of the graduate student face. If only it were not so lonely. I must devise a way of meeting the pale man in number 212. Perhaps the room clerk could make an arrangement in these matters. I've been here exactly a week, and if there is a friendly soul in this miserable little town, he has escaped my notice. Although the tradespeople accept my money with flat eagerness, they studiously avoid even the most casual conversation. I'm afraid I can never cultivate their society unless I can arrange to have my ancestors recognized as local residents for the last 150 years. Despite the coolness of my reception, I have been frequently venturing abroad. In the back of my mind, I have cherished hopes that I might encounter the pale man in number 211. Incidentally, I wonder why he's moved from number 212. There is certainly little advantage in coming only 1 room nearer to the front. I noticed the change yesterday when I saw him coming out of his new room. We nodded again, and this time I thought I detected a certain malign satisfaction in his somber black eyes. He must know that I'm eager to make his acquaintance, yet his manner forbids overtures. If he wants to make me go all the way, he can go to the devil. I'm not the sort to run after anybody. Indeed, the surly diffidence of the room clerk has been enough to prevent me from questioning him about his mysterious guest. I wonder where the pale man takes his meals. I've been absenting myself from the hotel restaurant and patronizing the restaurants outside. At each, I ventured inquiries about the man in number 210. No one at any restaurant remembered his having been there. Perhaps he has an entree into the Brahmin homes of this town? And again, he may have found a boarding house. I shall have to learn if there be one. The pale man must be difficult to please, for he has again changed his room. I'm baffled by his conduct. If he's so desirous of locating himself more conveniently in the hotel, why does he not move to number 202, which is the nearest available room to the front? Perhaps I can make his inability to locate himself permanently an excuse for starting a conversation. I see we're closer neighbors now, I might casually say. Well, that's too banal. I must await a better opportunity. He's done it again. He's now occupying number 209. I'm intrigued by his little game. I waste hours trying to fathom its point. What possible motive could he have? I should think he would get on the hotel people's nerves. I wonder what our combination bellhop chambermaid thinks of having to prepare 4 rooms in a single guest. If he were not stone deaf, I would ask him. At present, I feel too exhausted to attempt such an enervating conversation. I'm tremendously interested in the pale man's next move. He must either skip a room or remain where he is, for a permanent guest, a very old lady occupies 208. She's not budged from her room since I've been here, and I imagine she does not intend to. I wonder what the pale man will do. I await his decision with the nervous excitement of a devotee of the track on the eve of a big race. After all, I have so little diversion. Well, the mysterious guest was not forced to remain where he was, nor did he have to skip a room. The lady in number 208 simplifies matters by conveniently dying. No one knows the cause of her death, but it is generally attributed to old age. She was buried this morning. I was among the curious few who attended her funeral. When I returned home from the mortuary, I was in time to see the pale man leaving her room. Already he has moved in. He favored me with a smile, whose meaning I have tried in vain to decipher. I cannot but believe that he meant it to have some significance. He acted as if there were between us some secret that I failed to appreciate. But then, perhaps his smile was meaningless, after all, and only ambiguous by chance, like that of the Mona Lisa. My man of mystery now resides in number 207, and I'm not the least surprised. I would have been astonished if he had not made a scheduled move. I have almost given up trying to understand his eccentric conduct. I do not know a single more about him than I knew the day he arrived. I wonder whence he came. There's something indefinably foreign about his manner. I'm curious to hear his voice. I like to imagine he speaks the exotic tongue of some faraway country. If only I could somehow inveigle him into conversation. I wish that I were possessed of the glib assurance of a college boy who can address himself to the most distinguished celebrity without batting an eye. It's no wonder that I am only an assistant professor. I'm worried. This morning I awoke to find myself lying prone upon the floor. I was fully clothed. I must have fallen, exhausted there, after I turned to my room last night. I wonder if my condition is more serious than I had suspected. Until now, I've been inclined to discount the fears of those who have pulled a long face about me. For the first time, I recall the prolonged handclasp of the president when he bade me goodbye from the university. Obviously, he never expected to see me alive again. Of course, I'm not that unwell. Nevertheless, I must be more careful. Thank heaven I have no dependents to worry about. I have not even a wife, for I was never willing to exchange the loneliness of a bachelor for the loneliness of a husband. I can say in all sincerity that the prospect of death does not frighten me. The speculation about life beyond the grave has always bored me. Whatever it is or not is, I try to get along. I've been so preoccupied about the sudden turn of my own affairs that I've neglected to make note of the most extraordinary incident. The pale man has done an astounding thing. He skipped 3 rooms and moved all the way to number 203. We are now very close neighbors. We shall meet oftener, and my chances for making his acquaintance are now much greater. I've confirmed to myself to my bed during the last few days, and I have had my food brought to me. I'm confined here now. I even called a local doctor, whom I suspect to be a quack. He looked me over with professional indifference and told me not to leave my room. For some reason, he does not want me to climb stairs. For this bit of information, he received a $10 bill, which, as I directed him, he fished out of my coat pocket. A pickpocket could not have done it better. He'd not been gone long when I was visited by the room clerk. That worthy suggested, with a great show of kindly concern, that I use the facilities of the local hospital. It was so modern and all that. With more firmness than I had ever been able to muster in a long time, I gave him to understand that I intended to remain where I am. Frowning sullenly, he stiffly retired. The doctor must have paused long enough downstairs to tell him a pretty story. It is obvious he's afraid I shall die in his best room. The pale man is up to his old tricks. Last night, when I tottered down the hall, the door of number 202 was ajar. Without thinking, I looked inside. The pale man sat in a rocking chair, idly smoking a cigarette. He looked into my eyes and smiled, that peculiar, ambiguous smile that has so deeply puzzled me. I moved on down the corridor, not so much mystified as annoyed. The whole mystery of the man's conduct is beginning to irk me. It is all so inane, so utterly lacking in motive. I feel that I shall never meet the pale man, but at least I'm going to learn his identity. Tomorrow I shall ask the room clerk and deliberately interrogate him. I know now. I know the identity of the pale man, and I know the meaning of his smile. Early this afternoon I summoned the room clerk to my bedside. "Please tell me," I asked abruptly, "who is the man in number 202? The clerk stared wearily and uncomprehendingly. "You must be mistaken. That room is unoccupied." "Oh, but it is," I snapped in irritation. "I myself saw the man there only 2 nights ago. He's tall, handsome, a fellow with dark eyes and hair. He's unusually pale. He checked in the day that I arrived." The hotel man regarded me dubiously, as if I were trying to impose upon him. "But I assure you there is no such person in the house. As for his checking in when you did, you were the only guest we registered that day." "What?" "Why, I've seen him 20 times. First he had number 212 at the end of the corridor. Then he kept moving toward the front. Now he's next door in number 202. The room clerk threw up his hands. "You're crazy," he exclaimed, and I saw that he meant what he said. I shut up at once and dismissed him. After he'd gone, I heard him rattling the knob of the pale man's door. There's no doubt that he believes the room to be empty. Thus it is that I can now understand the events of the past few weeks. I now comprehend the significance of the death in number 207. I even feel partly responsible for the old lady's passing. After all, I brought the pale man with me, but it was not I who fixed his path. Why he chose to approach me room after room through the length of the dreary hotel, why his paths crossed the 3 thresholds of the women in number 207, those mysteries I cannot explain. I suppose I should have guessed his identity when he skipped the 3 rooms the night I fell unconscious upon the floor. In a single night of triumph, he advanced until he was almost to my door. He will be coming by and by to inhabit this room, his ultimate goal. When he comes, I shall at least be able to return his smile of grim recognition. Meanwhile, I have only to wait behind my bolted door and I'm watching this door swing slowly open. Dun dun dun! I don't know. I find this a very interesting story. It is public domain in the United States, legally published within the United States or United Nations headquarters in New York, subject to Section 7 of the United States Headquarters Agreement before 1964, and the copyright was not renewed. And I've copied the rest of this license, and I'm just going to keep it in my C drive until further notice. I hope you enjoyed my reading of this story. It looks like my usual viewers have not popped in yet today, and I know that they're accustomed to me telling stories for at least an hour or two on a Friday night. It has been a truly rainy evening, and the winds have been quite Arctic cool around here over the past week. We had one last frost experience, killing about half the tomatoes that I and my friends had planted. Although I did warn everyone there was a chance for one more frost before the upcoming, this May 2-4 weekend. So I want to wish all my Canadian fans out there, all my Canadian subscribers and repeat viewers, happy Victoria Day weekend, happy May 2-4. May you have fireworks, may you have wonderful, tasty barbecues, and have lots of fun. May you not be stuck in traffic. It took me so long to get home from school yesterday because of the traffic already starting, people trying to get out of town so fast, heading for the mountains, heading for the beaches, or heading for the inner city to go see all the shows. It's quite a weekend, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the most of it. I am going to brave the highway, and I am hoping that I'm heading in the direction opposite of most traffic, since I live closer to the mountains, and my family lives in the city, so I'm going to go take a visit. Now, let me see here. Usually on a night like this, I would also feature one of my sleep stories that is already published, but maybe no one's been aware of it before. So maybe I should do that, because I think this story that I just read, that's creepy enough for now. But if you like it, tell me in the comments below. I know many of my subscribers are on the West Coast, and they're not quite ready for bed yet. They're probably at a bonfire or two themselves, so I hope you're enjoying your evening, everyone. Now, you're going to hear me clicking a little bit, because I'm going to do the thing that we did in our first couple of episodes of Tuck In and Chill, and let me see if I can recommend to you one of my many sleep aid stories. Now, I am sitting on the longer 6 to 8 hour videos to help give you that fuller night's sleep that we all so desperately need, but it's been hard for I don't have enough storage on my particular computer at this time. I'm going to have to, it's actually kind of takes a whole hour to move the stories and the sound clips that I make, the binaural beats. They all store automatically in pieces while I combine everything through different programs, and so there are so many files and I've got to move them into external hard drive. I've been lazy about that, ladies, so I really have to get that done. But let's see, I'm going to go and take a look at our playlist. You may have noticed that I've started to post these singular Riddle Me This DIY surprise projects to reward you, and I've started to tell the longer stories again. The short shorts definitely get the most attention, and they're very, very small, and it's harder to get a larger audience to view my longer clips, but I think that I should still go back to doing the thing I came here for, and you will see me dabbling again with trying to make the littlest short shorts ever. I need to pick a new theme. The last one disturbed a lot of people asking me what did I just watch, with a lot of expletives. That was kind of funny. but I don't want to lose clients. We are so close to hitting a big number. I am still sitting on 98 subscribers, hoping to breach that barrier and hit that goal of 100. And by some miracle, could it happen by tomorrow? I think we're too close to tomorrow. Not even an hour away. So, let's see here. I'm going to look at my podcasts. Let's see what I've stored up. So, there are a lot of self-care videos, riddle me din-dins. Oh no, that's not the podcast that I want. Let me see what other themes we've got. I see now how I did this. Oh, and I'm not even able to look them all up like this. Oh, there must be beside it. Okay, here we go. So I'm clicking around trying to find. I'll just check my playlist. That seems to be the better idea. Okay. I'm going into my playlist called Get Some Sleep with Venus and Msoul. And
Here you are.
we've got some whispers, but I don't want to use one you've already seen. So let me see. Okay, we've done these. I have some little short ones that are just to promote getting ready for sleep. Let's try this. It's a little bit different. I don't know how people took this one because it sounds a little strange, but it's called Venus Gives You a Body Scan. And these are the ones, you know what? I think I should sit on those ones until I've actually remade. I should remake these ones. So,
to allow me to be a part of it.
Do.
You've got someone out here on your side.
I think that's so short.
But I think it's time then.
Okay, let's do Venus Gives You a Body Scan. But it's actually as a technique. It's not meant to be rude. I just was playing with analytics to see what kind of thing would be picked up based on the titles. It was when I was playing with titles to try to get impressions. Now I'm going to switch to this screen and let me show this to you. So what I love about this view, this is Roman armor, and I took this photograph in France. It was right before COVID hit. It was the year before COVID hit. I'm so glad I went there. But this was seeing part of the expanse of the Roman Empire. So they've gilded it in gold. It's on top of a gate to a public park that has a giant statue of Caesar Augustus facing the main city, and Montpellier, which I went there to brush up on my French because I need it for work. And I just was so inspired by this, also because in my gamer gear I have a golden set of armor I like to use when we do raids with my guild. And so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go quiet. I'm going to play this. It's not very long, 10 minutes 45 seconds, but I think it'll just hit the spot. And so this is something that I'm going to have to get back to revamping my original videos. Back before I had a rigged avatar, this was the thing. So you can focus on something here or close your eyes and relax, and I'll introduce you to the technique of something called the body scan. Here we go.
Hello, my restless mortal soul. Have you got 5 minutes for me? Well, I know that you're fussing and you're really tired, so I thought I might pop by and try to help you out. Well, I've been researching a new technique. It's called meditation with mindfulness. I know we kind of have the idea of what meditation is, and, well, it's not for everyone, but I thought if I explained it, maybe I could help you with your bedtime routine. You know how I love to see you energized in the morning. I just want to help. Okay, well, no surprise. We have to slow down the pace of our breathing. I promise I won't count it out for you today. But with a slow, steady pace for our breath, and if we focus on just the present moment, like for example, right now I'm just sitting. And we have to do this with a non-judgmental focus, like no guilt factor. I have things to do. What am I doing sitting here? Or why am I stopping for a break? I need to get these things done. There's a deadline. There's a something for something out there. And then getting upset with yourself for not having it done already, or by now, or soon. Stop judging yourself. Try not to let those negative thoughts take over, and really focus on the present moment. It's that Zen thing. And really just, in order to calm the mind down and help you to gain some of the focus needed to get into that state of mind to be able to fall asleep, let's just try focusing on right here, right now. In this present moment, I'm literally just sitting. I'm just breathing. And I'm saying out loud what I'm doing while I'm sitting and breathing. Okay, no, but for real, that's all it is. And every time other thoughts start to get into your head and you realize it, don't get upset with yourself, just come back to that. I'm sitting. I'm safe. I'm warm. I'm comfortable. I'm okay. Go through the thoughts of just right this second. And by keeping our breathing steady and keeping our thoughts on just this present moment, you might find with some practice it will reduce your sense of anxiety and worry and all of that busyness and chaos inside our head as we beat ourselves up. This is actually going to have a lot of health benefits, especially as we get really good at this, to help calm your whole nervous system, give your heart a break, and fill those lungs with oxygen. I've heard this even helps some people with insomnia. You know, I have insomnia and I can be just so very tired. And even if I'm not able to fall asleep every night or stay asleep for very long, by going through this process, I can tell you for myself, we're all different. Might be different for you, but for me, I at least feel more rested to be able to go on and get things done when we have to get up and go. Okay. I asked for 5 minutes of your time, so let's get on with this. How to do it? Well, there are many different kinds of meditations, but in doing a mindful meditation, you can do it for different reasons. But to get started, dim or shut off as many lights as you can so that your eyes can relax. Make sure that you're wearing comfortable clothing. And now if you're in your bedroom, try to make sure that you have a comfortable temperature. They say sometimes the cooler the better to help calm everything down. And rest. And this type of mindful meditation I'm going to tell you about is called the body scan. And I actually heard about it through this action program called UC Berkeley's Greater Good in Action, GGIA. It's something we could look up online. And it's out there, so let me just tell you about it. This is what will take the 5 minutes. I talk a lot. But okay, for 5. Get into a comfortable position and focus on slowly inhaling and slowly exhaling at a pace that's comfortable for you. So I'm just going to breathe. Now keep breathing and become consciously aware of the position your body's in. Are you on the bed? Are you leaning on it? Hanging off of it? On the floor with your feet up? Pay attention to the sensations in the different parts of your body. Do you need to adjust this position? If you notice any sensations, good or bad, in your legs and your feet, let your legs go soft. And continue this body scan moving up from your legs towards your head. Is your stomach comfortable? Do we need to loosen the waistband on it? Give it more room to breathe? Is your spine comfortable? Sometimes putting a pillow under your knees might help your spine flatten out more and feel more comfortable. Everybody has a different comfortable position. Think very consciously about each region of your body and the sensations they're feeling. I know I suffer from permanent nerve damage in a few places, so I tend to try to find positions where that pain is the most reduced as possible, and I tend to support my arm with a different pillow or sometimes a rolled up towel or a ball inside the palm of my hand so that there's a little extra support and I can release a little more tension that way. Are you able to breathe easily in this position? If not, just adjust yourself and even your clothing so that you can breathe more easily. The goal while you do this body scan is to stay in the present, thinking only of what's happening with your body right here, right now. And observe your body without judging it or reacting. Let each part of your body relax in the way that it can. Give it the support it needs. Keep breathing. After scanning each part of your body, reflect on your body as a whole and allow it to relax. It can take more practice to get used to doing this type of meditation. Using this body scan method usually works best for people who can devote at least 5 minutes each day, and as you do this, you'll become more comfortable with it. I'll say this for you, Msoul. You're a trooper. You stuck it out with me and gave it a try. I'm so proud of you for taking the time to do this. Okay. Good night, my sleepy, fabulous mortal soul. I wish you the best dreams. Sleep well, and I'll see you later.
Okay, and we are coming back in. All right, what did you think of that? So that is from my playlist of Get Some Sleep with Venus and Msoul, and it's the body scan technique explained, and with some nice background music to set the mood for relaxation. All right, well, it's a quiet week for me. I'm thinking that my main subscribers are busy right now, or hopefully out on the town having a fun Friday night. Gonna get some late sleep that you're gonna earn your tiredness, aren't you? Well, for me, my plants are getting lots of rain right now. Hopefully, they're not too cold outside, and I'm looking forward to opening back up my windows and getting some fresh air in, tucking in under some nice warm blankets, enjoying my cozy poncho. I hope you're nice and comfortable out there too. So, as we've tried, and by accident we started this just a couple weeks ago. If anyone out there is still awake, you're not drifting off to dreamland just yet, then the next thing I said that I would do is top off the night. And we are about 43 minutes in, not so many minutes to go to the witching hour, that I should be saying some kind of ghost stories. Well, I haven't planned which ones to do, so always, you can send me requests, tell me the types that you're looking for to hear about. I'm thinking something very recent. In the place where I live now, where I first moved in, it was the one time I've been lazy in the past few years of moving around, where I didn't bother smudging everything, although I do use incense sticks. I guess I have used the incense sticks to go around, and for the most part I've gotten into the cherry flavored ones, cherry blossoms, and of course, I do use cedar. I do like cedar sometimes, but I've been more into putting things like orange blossom or peppermint or spearmint into my ventilators instead, to like mist up the place and while keeping things cool. But I've gotten back into the cherry incense sticks recently, and but not all around the house, just kind of where I want to relax. Well, where I've actually set up the station here is a place that along the wall that creeped me out the most. I'm actually sitting deliberately facing the wall where I've heard a lot of noises. Now, this is an older building. This building's got to be at least as old as I am, maybe more, probably just a tiny bit older than me. So it's not too bad. But what I do notice about it is, being on one of the upper floors, the walls are really not very straight. And this particular wall bends in and comes back out like it's a waving ripple a little bit. It's not too comforting to realize when I'm looking at how things buckle. Like, I'll never stand on the last foot of the balcony because I see where all of the rebar is kind of bent and poking through, and where the cracks all seem to be in line with that. So it's like, I think everything's fine. I think it can all hold my weight, but I don't know, just in case, are these the spots that I'm going to ignore? So there must be, logical reasons. Ghost hunters go into places and find logical reasons why we hear and see all sorts of things as building materials age and shift and all that business with changing air pressures, water pressures, temperature pressure changes. Okay, so having said all of that, in this particular building and on this particular wall where I put all of my electronics, I have to say that one of the things they used to say was maybe the reason people talk about seeing ghosts less and less is because modern technology is using all the frequencies that they used to have or occupy, if we're thinking in different dimensions and such, that they would have used to reach out or be seen or manifest. And they often say that, well, when you get a phone call and nobody's there, it's just a dead line, that someone was trying to reach out from beyond to say hello or keep you company when you're lonely or what have you. Not anything necessarily malicious, just a reach out. And so I'm thinking about how I've done this in the room. Once I got it into my head to try the V-tubing route. When I first moved here, I did not have an office. I did not have office furniture, although I did have my laptop and my computer tower. When I had originally set them up in a back room, and here in the living room, along this particular wall, I was constantly hearing what I thought was an older man, an elderly man, falling into the wall. And again, this wall bends in towards me and then comes back out along the hallway. So it's a bend. So maybe I'm hearing, an old building buckling in the way that it's buckling. This wall seems to be the give wall. That's not where I'm going to stand if there were ever an earthquake to ever happen. Not that it will around here. No, we get hurricanes. We get tornadoes. This is Tornado Alley. But if it were to have ever happened, this would not be the wall that I would tucker into for safety. But I kept thinking, for real, I do know there's a lot of elderly in my building, and a lot of them have scooters or those walking things that you can sit in, or the walkers, old-fashioned walkers. And I don't know who's who. I mean, I'm new. And I kept hearing an older man fall into this wall and fall down. He'd hit the wall and fall down. Always hit the wall and fall down. And I finally a couple times felt really bad. I'm like, why is he always falling down right there? Is he alone? Does he have anybody? I mean, we could be alone. When we get older, I think it's harder for people to find someone if they're not still with the person they married. And I started trying to run out to give assistance because these falls were very distinct and loud, and I could hear it, and I could almost feel it, like, the vibration. And so I'd be running out, and I see nobody there. And I'm like, well, am I having a brain fart where I hear it and I'm lazy at first, but then by the time I get up, they actually have gotten up and moved on? And I mean, I'd hear the sound of this older man's voice on the impact, not enjoying the experience. And start to realize, it's the wall or it's the room that makes me feel creeped out. I wouldn't put any chairs on it. Originally, it was the wall that I was going to put like my little shelf for books and a chair for reading. It's just a smaller nook with a little bit of a half wall on one side where it's back to back with the cupboard. But then other things started to happen too, where, and again, technologies. I did have a TV in here, but it doesn't seem, no matter who the provider is, it's always blanking out, it's always freezing, it's always turning itself off. And then in the middle of the night, it may turn itself on and also way too loud, which would scare the bejeebies out of me, and also worried that I don't want neighbors to complain, running to turn it off and always bring me back into this room. And this went on. This is the first time, the longest I've lived in one place in a while. So this is my third year here. So things are obviously a little different. I'm taking up space now. But at the time, so with this wall, next, like and along this wall, is my dining room furniture. And I had very nice dining room furniture because as my grandparents had passed and my grandmother's last living brother, he recently passed, I was receiving their furniture. And being the person who had moved so often, never invested in a house, never invested in furniture, I needed it. It looked great. I mean, I crawled around it as a child, and also feel a bit guilty letting it go. That's a different episode altogether. But I didn't want to hurt my parents' feelings and say no. And so I set it up, and it was the best look. It actually looked like a real room, a proper room with a proper china cabinet. And I mean, it was my grandparents, so I don't believe, like, I've always doubted there's another side or what have you. Whatever we're sensitive to could have real explanations. Science can, explain things, but we let our imaginations go because it's fun or whatever. But But in case I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, so that we can all be together again on the other side, in case, be open to, our energy goes somewhere. Our energy can do something, maybe. Some people are so stubborn they'll never let go. And so with a higher, sense of self, keep your entity together. I don't know. It's just, I'm throwing out theories. I'm not sure. But I don't believe that anything bad would come from anyone you knew in life. If they never hurt you in life, why would you be afraid? Why would you be afraid of your family's home? Why would you be afraid of if your grandmother, grandfather, could identify something that you now keepsake for them? I don't believe that. But I wondered, because, every once in a while you have a smell and you remember, it triggers memories or something. In the time since my grandfather had passed, and I felt I was close to him. He was a farmer. I learned gardening techniques from him and such. How I remember him is when I'm gardening. And, this was his furniture. And I feel like at the time, maybe he had stepped forward to be my guardian to protect me in a way, because I started to smell him. Now, again, I have his furniture that's been in his house since before I was alive. So it would be normal to smell my grandparents through their things. And I have, some of their keepsakes came with the cabinet, so they're there in the cabinet. And not feeling fearful at all. If anything, nostalgic. And it's good furniture. Just being practical, it's good furniture. But I felt like sometimes I was being frightened by this sound of this older man falling into the wall and falling. And I asked the people who managed the building, did anyone die in here? And they didn't give me an answer. To this day, they made a face and they diverted conversation. I'm like, you're not answering my question. I don't want to be terrified. So please just tell me that it didn't happen. But a lot of older people have lived here. And perhaps maybe one of them is wondering why I'm in his apartment. And I say this because I started having blackouts where, and I'm talking to my gamer friends, and everything keeps blacking out. And things are falling when nobody's moving. Now, I'll say that if I'm in a building where the walls seem to be buckling, waving in sideways, maybe it's sensitive to the traffic outside. Traffic makes vibrations when it drives by, and there's a mall near here. There's a beach nearby. Lots of people drive up and down the main road. Well, that's technically a block or two away from me. So how bad could the vibrations from the roadway be? I mean, if we're in a city or a suburb near the roads that are traveled all the time. But do the vibrations over time, shimmy things off close to the edge and we don't notice because it's slightly in the same place, and they shimmy till they fall off? I don't know. But what I do know is this sound of this man falling, hitting the wall and falling, was freaking me out because I was clearly hearing it, clearly feeling a vibration off of that, and things are starting to fall. And then things kept turning off. And what I mean by that is I use these those plugs that have many plugs, the outlet things that are supposed to protect from surges and all that business. And they were new. I got them when I moved in. And they kept turning off. Now, my practical friend who doesn't believe in anything beyond anything, good old American guy, ex-Marine type, is like, there's nothing in it. It's imagination. It's got to be shutting itself off. Maybe it shuts off automatically after a certain amount of time. And I'm like, no, everything keeps shutting off. And I don't like being alone in here with no lights in the dark at night and hearing this sound falling and things falling. And a couple of times what happened while I was gaming is, I need you to, if you can figure this, if you can imagine this, the triangulation. Hi, welcome in. So the wall where I hear the bang, the fall, and the exclamations from the older man falling, and it sounds like it's not in the hall side of the wall anymore. It sounds like it's on the inside of the wall here. And then the dining room table and such is down the wall from it, along the same wall, so same room, long, like but then the room is L-shaped, so I'm sitting in the L part with the TV, and the breakers go off, and I hear the fall, feel the shake, and then like a screw that I didn't even know there were screws on the dining table, but I had a bunch of papers there because I did about back around that time that was still COVID where we were working from home and doing school from home. I don't know where these screws came from, but a screw literally left the dining room table in a trajectory diagonal and almost hit me. Now a couple times I found screws on the ground and I hear things fall, um, but it definitely I had collected them and started putting them on the table after the first incident, and then gaming, and I hear the fall and the breaker goes out and I'm alone in the dark. My game's not on, and I've got the light of the laptop, that's because it still has its backup battery, and these screws flew across the room and hit me again. But this time one of them almost got my face, one of them got me in the leg, and I'm like, how does anything, and I'm asking my ex-Marine friend who's a gamer buddy, how can that be explained? You're the practical guy, tell me, because I'm freaking out. Because now I feel like not only am I getting disturbed like with the sound and the vibration and things falling, but now something's like being thrown at me. And this is the first time I've had things fly at me. I've had things like open up and I've had things fall out, but you could blame that on gravity or the wind, vibrations from traffic, but this is something you can't explain. And I went to a psychic medium. There was a psychic fair going on, and they said that there's an angry man, an angry presence who wants me out of his life, out of his home. So here's where I break out making tea, bought a beer and opened it and left it at the wall, trying to explain that I'm still alive and I'm just renting an apartment. I just need a place to live and please don't hurt me. All this stuff. But what my sister did for me, she took me seriously. She got me this kind of incense from South America, and now I can't remember the name of it. I have to ask her for the name of it. She says, you start burning this. She says, because when you're burning things like sage, it takes everything out. The good with the bad, it just takes everything. But what you want to do is keep the good in and near you and just get rid of the bad. And I decided to burn it on the dining room table where it was my grandparents' table. I sometimes was smelling my grandfather around. Again, that could be just the furniture because it lived in his house for longer than I'd been alive. I learned to walk around this furniture, and I started burning it. And I did the smudging thing where you walk around every room, you open every door, you open every window, and you tell all the good to stay, and anything that's not good, it's not welcome here, it has to leave. And that in itself wasn't necessarily stopping the sound of the hitting the wall and falling, but what it did do, and I don't know, you could argue that I was half asleep or imagining, but I very clearly felt that on the second night of burning this stuff, I thought I heard, the first night I still heard the banging and the falling sound of an older man on the wall. But the second night that I was burning this, after coming home from work, I thought I saw my grandfather standing at the head of the table, looking at the incense package, trying to read it like as if he could remember it. Now, my grandfather's Italian and this is like Spanish. So I'm thinking he knew Spanish, Portuguese, all that. I think it looked as though he was trying to remember where he had heard this name from before. And I froze. And I do feel like when you think you see something, I don't want to see the face. I always feel like that's what crosses you over and you join the other side. So I didn't say anything. I didn't move. I actually just sidestepped onto my balcony and I started praying to Mary and all that. And I prayed 10 times, kind of like I used to do the rosary. So I did that. And when I came back in, I didn't see my grandfather anymore. The incense stick had burned down, so I lit another one right away. But from that night on, I have not heard the old man fall into this wall and have any expletives or anything. I have not had that since. And so that was my first year here where I am now. And now I've got all my technology sucking up all the energy and all the vibes here on this very wall where it used to happen. And I'm sitting right in the spot that I always used to avoid and kept empty because I was afraid of it. And now I don't have the dining table anymore. It was cracked. It was really, older than me. So, but I keep the cabinet and the chairs, and I just have it in a new arrangement to look more like a lounge. And here I am VTubing for you from the very spot. And as I'm talking about it, I'm feeling all creepy and I'm feeling all tingly. And if I had hair on my legs and arms, I think they would be standing up on end, but I don't because I wax. But I feel like my skin is saying if I had hair, it'd be standing up on end right now. But I'm hoping I'm not bringing anything in by talking about it, but I'm glad to talk about it. And my gamer friends and I, because the Marine could not come up with a reason, I just asked every man in my guild to speak out through my speaker and just say, I wanted them, like my American friends, to just say, I'm going to punch you in the nuts if you don't leave her alone. Like, every couple months, we get one of the guys to say that, just so that I'd feel a little more comfortable. Because you never know, like, I wonder, if I'm watching all these creepy shows online, am I calling something in? I hope not. So I cut out watching that stuff for a good year. I've only started recently watching it all again, the creepypasta and all that, because it's entertaining. I find it entertaining. But for that year, I would not watch any of those shows because I was so afraid. And now I'm sitting here talking about it with you. So I've come a long way from all of that, and I haven't had anything like that happen since. I will say the scariest thing is that something will fly across the room at you, because there's no way anyone can explain that, especially when you're the only living human in the whole building, like in the whole room. So that was the creepiest thing ever, the most frightening thing here in the spot where I now give you these live streams from. So that's the thing, and that's my story for the evening. Alright, viewers, listeners, and subscribers, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Happy long weekend to my Canadian viewers. May you have so much fun. Everyone else, I hope you're having fun out there. I hope you're getting ready for a lovely, refreshing, restful sleep and sweet dreams. And I will be back again live tomorrow night for our guild meeting. The guild meetings are getting a little shorter now, but hey, Hero Flame, how are you today? It doesn't show me that there are any viewers online. I'm doing good, how are you? Were you here hearing my ghost story? Have you been here? Because it doesn't show me anyone's online at all. I wonder if we're having a super big lag again. I hope not. The last one was pretty big, actually. I'm glad to see you. I hope you're doing just very well. So, and just to clarify, it is 12:03 a.m. when I am seeing Hero Flame's messages come online. I don't know what time it is for you when you sent them. I'm hoping we're not on a huge lag. But yeah, so that ends my story. Exhausted, but I'm getting ready. I'm sorry you're exhausted. I'm doing okay. I'll be very honest with you. I fell asleep when I got home from school today. It took me about a half hour longer than usual to get home in the traffic, because where I'm living there's a holiday this weekend. So if it wasn't raining, I think there would be fireworks going off right now. Queen Victoria's birthday is celebrated here. We know she's been gone a long time and we're not so into monarchy, but if it's a chance for us to throw some fireworks and barbecue around, we'll keep it. So I actually fell asleep, and I woke up about an hour before I needed to do the show. I was so glad I didn't sleep through it. I hate being late. So yeah, we are stubbornly stuck at 98 subscribers. I see that I get someone and then someone leaves, and I get them and they leave again. So we're so close to getting to our next milestone. And but I'm not running out of ideas. I've realized there's so much I can still do, even with just revamping the original stories to using my avatar on the screen. There's so much to do. But I did post a couple new things. This week I turned myself into a mermaid. I don't know if you saw those, but I found that a fun thing to do for a change. Maybe I'll turn myself into a few other magical beasts along the way. Yeah. I've been feeling exhausted lately. I'm not sleeping in a good way. I fall asleep for an hour or two and then I'm up. And then sometimes I'm waking up this week between 1 and 3 in the morning and I don't fall back asleep again. Now, it's interesting though. I did some research and depending on the hour you wake up, it actually means a different one of your internal organs needs some addressing. So I found that interesting to note. But I mean, one of the key things I can do is keep drinking my water. And actually, I've got my ice cubes here. I have to cheat. I'm trying to stop myself from chewing them anymore because I've been to the dentist and we've tried to replace anything that's fallen out, cracked, or broken. So I think I've actually cracked a molar by chewing the ice cubes. So now I have to stop myself and not let myself chew the ice cubes. It's such a bad habit. Such a bad habit. But it did start because I had anemia and now it's just a bad habit. So when I catch myself starting to do it, I just suck on them. But I still love my ice cubes. I do feel much more clean and refreshed. I feel safe having ice cubes because they have the label that says ice is food and you know no one's poisoning you with it. Which is so important to have clean water. So yeah. Unfortunately I think our long weekend will have a lot of rain, but I've got a lot of work to catch up on, so I may just order a big pizza and camp in for one day. Probably on Monday I'll do that because I'm procrastinating. Oh, now I'm seeing that there's a viewer. So there is definitely a lag again, and I'm thinking this lag is 15 to 20 seconds long. I hate that. But at least we get to chat. So, Hero, I hope your weekend goes well too. So, Hero, I'm going to bug you. Do you have any special requests? Anything you'd like to see happening? This week coming up, I am not going to be here live on Tuesday night. I will be here live Sunday night for Dragonflight, but I'm pushing it back to 10 p.m. I'm also pushing back the guild meeting tomorrow to 10 p.m. I don't know if that's better for you or harder for you to check in on. I know I used to do these things in the daytime. I'm just finding that there's so many things I have to get done that I have to be out and about and I don't want to risk being late. Oh, thank you. I thought I'd try something different. I wasn't in the mood for a bunny blanket. But I like ponchos. I like wraps. They're nice and soft. I like soft fabrics. I actually like heavy fabrics too. They make you feel like you're being hugged. But they're good for keeping the wind off. Yeah. So if you're feeling exhausted, I've got to get back to I really have a long sleep story that's really cool that I wish I could get finished. I'm going to see if I can try to empty out my computer so that I can get it finally published. If not, I might have to do it in a part 1 and part 2. I don't know how that would go over, but we'll see. In a playlist, that might work out. Oh, so this Tuesday, what I was mentioning is I won't be live because it's the one, there's one Tuesday every month that I have to go to that meeting. Um, it's, uh, it's called the Game Wizards Club or something. It's a new thing that I tried out. I've been to two meetings now where people talk about their like board games that they invent, and they take to different like comic cons or conventions to meet people and run their prototypes. And in this club you get to try out their games. um, so we tried out an escape room puzzle series last month, and the one before that I went to one where they actually had a speaker. And I went there because even though it was about inventing games, I knew a lot of their information about going online with games it was helpful for me because I was becoming a VTuber. So I still found it valuable, and they're looking for another speaker. So, and two of the people that go are coders, so I told them what I'm doing, and they gave me some tips for things to learn. And yeah, so instead it'll be just a snack. It'll be a riddle and a snack, but I will pre-schedule the episode. Although I won't be live, there'll still be riddles and a recipe. And it'll just be a fun recipe. So the one week that I'm not live for the Riddle Me game, it will be just fun snacks. So do you have any favorite kinds of snacks? Like sweet versus sour, or munchy, or versus cakes and puddings? Like, what's your kind of go-to favorite stuff? And I will use that as an idea. And then it'll just be a short episode to riddle up a snack. I'll only worry about being healthy on the nights that I'm live. So snack night, you all get a break and a treat. And then after that, Thursday night will be the gamer night again. And I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with the game. I might try going back into Steam to try some of theirs out again. And I'll have to erase the ones. I find that I was disappointed with the dragon one with Daenerys and Jon Snow and all that, because I didn't feel like I was playing the game. Just press a button, tell a story, press a button, tell. Like, I didn't really feel like I was doing anything. And then it asked for money, so I was like, nope. But there are other things to explore. So is there anything you felt like chatting about before we log off for the evening? Anything at all? I can't tell how much of a lag we have. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to stop telling me I seem tired. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to log off for the evening then. Um, but Hero, please write me in the comments if you ever have a request. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I found some public domain stories, so I'm gonna on the Friday nights definitely have some original things. Well, things that are old enough that we may never have heard of them before, and they're not the ones on Creepypasta or Steam or Vent or Reddit. So I'm gonna be using those for a bit and then end with some of my own little tidbits, because I know at least when I'm telling what I think I've seen or sensed or whatever, that at least it's original. Yeah, so since I found this public domain site, hopefully I won't get cited for copyright, but I am saving the licenses when I find these things so that I can clarify, because when I get dinged, I do send YouTube the proofs of my licenses, so unless I interpret something incorrectly, all should be good. And yeah, so Hero, I'm going to be on definitely tomorrow at, I think I said 10, but oh yeah, I'm going to give you a cheers. Here's my cup. You can hear that. The last of my water and ice for the evening. So I will drink to your health and mine. I will be live for Dragonflight. I will also be live for Thursday Night Gamer Night this week coming up. And I did pre-post. I got lazy about it this past week. I caught myself today, so I reposted when I'll be online, so we can chat. And if you do have a story you'd like me to do for you, something that's interesting to you, a topic, please tell me, because you never tell me. It's not a bother, so make sure you let me know what you want to hear about so I can keep you interested and entertained. All right. Goodbye, sir or ma'am. Goodbye, Hero Flame. Thanks for popping in. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you're still out there doing well. So, have a great night, and I'll see you sometime in the week coming up. Take care. And this is Venus Kalita ending our episode of Tuck It and Chill. And I will get some sleep now. So good night and sweet dreams. And have fun out there. Have a great weekend.